All right, so this is not going to be a fire Freddie Kitchens monologue. I do not want Freddie Kitchens fired. I want Freddie Kitchens to be the head coach of the Browns for the next decade because I do believe in Freddie Kitchens. Now, hopefully that works out and Freddie Kitchens can be the coach. But, let's talk about some of the issues that Freddie Kitchens has. And one of the things I have noticed with Freddie Kitchens, and one of the things that drove me crazy about Freddie Kitchens, is this weird management and vagueness around injuries and what I believe to be the doghouse. Now, this is pure speculation, but these are things that just don't add up if you look at them and take what Freddie's saying at face value. Let's start with the curious case of Jernard Avery. Jernard Avery was a productive playmaker last year. He made some plays. He turned some eyebrows. He was a big talking point in the offseason on what he could develop into. He was supposed to be the replacement for Jamie Collins, and this year he's touched the field maybe 3 times. What the hell is going on with that? I understand that the defense technically changed, but Jernard Avery fits the mold of what they were bringing in. I mean, Sione Takitaki and Mack Wilson aren't that fundamentally different than Jernard Avery. And even then, Jernard Avery was this team's second best pass rusher last season. Chad Thomas couldn't see the field last season, if you remember, as a pass rusher, because Jernard Avery was out there. Now we're seeing Chad Thomas out there instead of Jernard Avery? What is going on with Jernard Avery? I don't know. This is obviously some kind of doghouse or coaching thing, and it's not being explained. It's super vague. And look, I don't expect full, super clear explanations from NFL head coaches, but this is a head scratcher. The next head scratcher is Rashard Higgins. First of all, this starts in the preseason. Remember in the preseason, we had this small complaint about what the Browns were doing, and that was playing Rashard Higgins into the third quarter of like every preseason game. That was very, very weird that they were doing that because we thought Rashard Higgins was clearly a part of this number 1 offense. Even when Jarvis and Odell did not play the entire preseason, Rashard Higgins would be out there with the starting unit all the way out to the third quarter. Retrospect, seeing what's going on with Rashard Higgins, kind of weird. And then the season starts. He hurts his knee. We think it's a 1 or 2 game thing because he practiced limited on his knee. And then it turns into a 4 or 5 week thing. Then he's kind of cleared to play. The reports are that he's going to play against San Francisco, and he's not active. But Antonio Callaway, who just came off a suspension and injury in training camp, is, and that was a complete disaster because they had him playing in Rashard Higgins' position. But we'll talk about that whole mishap later. But still weird what's going on with Rashard Higgins. Then Rashard Higgins is active, healthy, and ready to go against Seattle Seahawks. And he does not touch the field at all. This offense has needed a third option like Rashard Higgins all season. It's very weird that he was not there, but Damian Ratley played. But Antonio Callaway played. What is going on with that? That is very weird, and I don't understand it. Let's talk about Demarius Randall. Why is it that the key injuries on this team never happen in the game? They happen in the middle of the week in practice. One of the cases, Demarius Randall, right? Gets a concussion randomly right after he says that he hates Greg Williams. That's a little bit weird. That's an eyebrow raiser, but, let's move on, So eventually he comes back from that injury. And Demarius Randall is asked about that concussion. And Demarius Randall says, I've only had 1 concussion in my life. And the one I just came back from wasn't it. Now, Demarius Randall is a weird dude. Okay, Demarius Randall will say some weird stuff. So I don't want to put anything past Demarius Randall. But what was that? That's weird, right? That doesn't make any sense when you put the other dots with it. This is very weird what's going on. And then you have your 2 corners, Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward, who seem to both be injured with the same injury that happened on the same day, again, in the middle of the week in practice, not in the game. So they get the same injury in the middle of the week. And they're recovering on the exact same time frame. Now, it's very possible that they could have knocked knees somehow in practice and hurt their knees in the same exact way. That's disregarding the fact that they both play the starting cornerbacks on the opposite side of the field. So like that probability is like very, very uncommon. And I feel like that's something Freddie would have just said outright if that was the case and ran into each other. But no, nobody says anything about these injuries that happen at the same time, that seem to be the same injury, and that are both recovering at the same rate. That's weird, man. And it wouldn't be weird if it were the only weird injury doghouse related thing going on with this team. But this whole team's injury report has been weird. Jernard Avery, Rashard Higgins, Demarius Randall, both the starting cornerbacks. It's been weird this entire time. And I can't sit here and act like these are 5 coincidences. I don't know what's going on. I'm speculating. There could be nothing. I could just be crazy. But I can't be the only one that feels like these are too many coincidences to just be happening. There's something going on with how this team is managing discipline and the injuries that are getting pushed together. That just seemed like something that is odd, and that's something that is probably holding this team back. And that's probably Freddie Kitchens' fault. So honestly, that's my biggest gripe with Freddie Kitchens, is that there seems to be a lot of weird stuff happening behind the scenes.